Hello, hello, hello. I hope you are well. Hello, Kate. How are you doing? Thank you so much for being here. I hope everyone has had a good day. I have Chalupa Poopa next to me, and Tamale Wally Doodle is also here, and I'm coming live to you from my bedroom. Isn't that exciting? Because, yeah, office, who knows when that's actually going to be set up, but hopefully the goal will be I don't know, maybe by February I'll actually get it set up. Goals, what can I say? I had wanted to bring you another episode about on passive because I was able to attend the webinar today, which started at 1 Central Standard Time. I'm in Central Time. At 8 p.m., it was still going on. It ended shortly afterwards, a little bit after 8, but good gravy. So I do have stuff that I'll be able to go through the footage of what I captured tomorrow and kind of mark areas that I want to share and stream about that tomorrow. Really wanted to do it tonight, but it just wasn't in the cards considering this was like the longest webinar in the history of webinars. It was just, and I wasn't listening to it the entire time because I just couldn't. So tonight, we are going to be looking at Mr. Matt Morris. Now, I did do a live stream on him before. Hey, Laura, how are you doing? Um, and I did that, gosh, probably in the spring. So it's been a while since we've looked at him, but he was one of the speakers at the Business for Home Growth Conference, which happened over the summer, which my goal had been to talk about it before now. Hey, Johnny, how are you? You're in it to win it. Oh, I'm so very glad. Yes, because the baby Catmo is launching. Johnny is here all the time for my stuff on Catmo on passive because Catmo is on passive. It's just so janky. But tonight we're going to look at Matt Morris. Now, Matt has been in the MLM industry for 25 years. So he's a veteran for this BS. And he started in World Ventures, and now he's still with Secret. I just can't help myself. Secret Direct. That's who he's with currently. And I'm going to share with you. We're going to go ahead and kind of dive into this. Like I said, tomorrow I'll go through the footage of what I captured from the on passive private webinar, which today I did get a comment, and Johnny, it was seven. It was literally like a 7-hour webinar. It was like, yeah, I just don't understand. Other than let's gaslight people into believing the bullshit that's coming out of your mouth, Ash, and out of his butt at the same time. Now, from the live stream I did last night, which I did share a private webinar also on passives. Somebody's like, "Ma'am, why are you sharing a private webinar?" And I just kind of left that comment there because I just can't be bothered. It's like, figure it out. I am an anti MLM channel. I'm calling out scams. Put two and two together. But somebody else responded and they were like, because she can. It's like, yeah, you know, I didn't sign the non-disclosure agreement, which is just a way for people to feel like they can't speak out, which is absolutely totally bogus. So anyway, let me go ahead and share this with you so we can look at Mr. Matt Morris and his story, because everyone always has a story and their life before multi-level marketing is always in the shitter. And then also, Mom, the best thing ever happened and I was saved. And Ash Mufaro of On Passive, he is here to save the planet. I mean, those people really believe that he is like the Messiah. I kid you not. It is frightening. I mean, people were crying during the webinar. It was like, oh my gosh, I just want to go give them a hug and, somehow deprogram them. Okay, so here's Matt. Matt Morris was raised by a single mother who he credits as his biggest inspiration, who worked multiple jobs to finish college and law school. In Nat's early childhood, his father went to prison for murder, then became a severe alcoholic and ended up committing suicide when Matt was 13. So, are your heartstrings being pulled already from this? And I mean, if there is truth to this, because I do not know how much is true, because people are told basically to exaggerate a bit and or to take other people's stories and use them. So I don't know. So I'm going to say allegedly this happened. His business career didn't exactly have the most stellar start. After 3 years as an entrepreneur, he found himself at age 21, $30,000 in debt, homeless, and living out of his beat up Honda Civic. After only 2 months of living out of his car and bathing in gas station bathrooms, Matt made a decision to radically reinvent his life. Through a massive commitment to personal development and disciplined work ethic, by age 24, he was earning a six-figure income, and by 29, he was a self made millionaire. Now in his 40s, Matt Morris is a happy father of three beautiful children. A self admitted adventure junkie, Matt Morris has traveled to over 80 countries around the world, has checked off over 100 accomplishments on his bucket list, some of which include climbing Mount Kilimanjaro, the highest bungee jump in the world, cage diving with great white sharks, paragliding, skydiving, racing camels around the Great Pyramids in Egypt, hiking to Machu Picchu in Peru, zip lining at Victoria Falls in Zimbabwe, riding a hot air balloon in Africa, over the running of the wildebeest, scuba diving, the Blue Hole in Belize, jungle tours, and whitewater rafting in the Andes Mountains. Wow. Okay, I just have to interject this. The whole thing about wildebeest that always makes me think of my dear friend Jamie. Back in the day when I was in art school, we had to design an album cover. And so I used her fake band, which is Estelle Wax and the Wildebeest. Every single song title on there, I had the word wildebeest, dance like the wildebeest, night of the wildebeest. Anyway, side note, back to Matt. While Matt Morris has earned millions as an entrepreneur and helped many others do the same, his sense of accomplishment comes not from the money. Matt believes creating wealth is as simple as providing value in the lives of others. Oh, just gag me. I'm so sick of hearing about just add value to people. According to Matt, it is not money that creates significance. It's the person you have to become in order to be a millionaire that matters. It's your mindset. Matt's mission in life is to help entrepreneurs become powerful leaders, to make a positive impact in the lives of millions of people, to enjoy peak experiences and adventures around the world, to create a legacy of multi generational love, success, success, wealth, and contribution, and to be a hero to his children. Do you hear harps? Matt is just ever so wonderful. So that's a little bit about Mr. Matt. Um, so now I think we're going to go ahead. Let me see. Oh, I did want to. Where did I have this pulled up? Yes, I did. Okay. Share. I really wish I could do like multiple tabs or something, but I haven't figured that out. Yeah. Okay. This is on Business for Home because, he was in the Business for Home Growth Conference. So I just kind of looked this up. So here he is, number 88, $17 million allegedly. And down here, it does show you a secret direct. I'm not sure what this number pertains to, but it doesn't matter. All that you need to know is that his most recent MLM of choice is Secret Direct. And on Facebook, he does free daily video training for multi-level for MLM multi-millionaire and best from MLM multi-millionaire and best-selling author Mr. Matt Morris, as seen on Fox, CBS, ABC, NBC. And that's really what scares me, is that these people get legitimized by going on legitimate shows and stuff. And so people think, oh, this is someone I should really listen to. No, you shouldn't. If anyone that's connected to anything that's MLM like, run for the hills. Just don't pass go. Don't collect $200. Just run. So let's go ahead and look at what he was teaching in the growth conference. Hang on, let me share that tab. And I am so very grateful that somebody shared the entire conference with me. And I am sharing it with you because that's what we do here is we talk about scammy things in the multi-level marketing business or anything that's a kissing cousin thereof. And he started at 4 hours and 43 minutes and 43 seconds into it. So let's hit it and go and see what Matt has to say.
Hey everyone, Matt Morris, excited to be with you guys virtually. Ted asked me to talk about closing today. So I'm going to go through and give you some of the philosophies, some of the strategies, and really some of the mindset that I've used over the last 25 years that I've been in the profession. Have been full-time for the last 20 years, have been able to build organizations that have grown to over 2.5 million customers, over $3 billion in sales, and it has been one heck of a ride. And I will definitely tell you, it was not always this way. In fact, my first 2 years in network marketing, I was as bad as you could possibly be. I actually got started in network marketing when I was 18 years old. Was in college working as a waiter, a banquet waiter for minimum wage, and I'm, waiting tables. And there's another waitress who's, working the same shift that I was, and she was fairly cute. And every once in a while, she would initiate conversation with me. And I, of course, was initiating conversation back because I was interested. And at one point she asked me, she said, hey, Matt, have you ever thought about being in business for yourself? And I wanted to build rapport. So I said, absolutely, all the time. And she said, well, why don't you write your number down and we'll talk business sometime? And I was anxious to talk business with her. So I gave her my number and she called me a night or two later and she said, hey, it's Mary Beth. Remember we met? And I said, yeah, I remember. And she said, well, listen, I wanted to see if you were up for talking business at the Hilton Hotel tomorrow night. And I thought, all right, cute girl, hotel, night, business, I'm all in. And so I was excited. I showed up to the hotel ready to talk business with her. And little did I know there was a network marketing presentation going on. And so she met me in the lobby, ushered me into a presentation, and not exactly what I was expecting, but I will tell you, when I saw the guy draw the circles and he talked about leveraged income, I was excited. And I had never heard of network marketing before. And I remember going home that night, back to my little apartment thinking, oh my gosh, I can't believe this is the only company that does this. And I, of course, like so many people, thought I'm going to be making six-figure income in the next year. I'm going to make millions of dollars, and had no idea, right? And so I will tell you, my first 2 years, I sponsored 3 people. Gets worse because 2 of the 3 that I sponsored, I paid for to get in myself. And it actually gets worse because one of the 2 that I paid for to get in was my mom, and I never even told her she was in. I didn't even have the confidence to tell her that I put her in. And the one guy that I did enroll.
Now, sadly, that is not uncommon for people to pay for others to join their janky MLM. and for them to get a relative and like, get your husband, get your wife, get your brother, get your sister, get them in, and they don't even know it. I have heard that before, and you know, um, I just think it really shows not such a good side of this really janky industry.
Was a waiter friend of mine. He had been drinking before the presentation. So he signed up and never showed up again. So at the end of 2 years, I had one person in my group. It was me. And very frustrating because these dreams that I had of traveling around the world and making millions of dollars just seem so far out there. And I don't know if you can relate to this at all, but in those first 2 years and even after that, I mean, I felt so frustrated, so discouraged, so defeated, watching all these other people who had joined after me pass me up. And it was almost like, what is wrong with me? Why can't I make this work? And, I joined another company and decided, all right, I haven't committed enough. So I'm going to commit even more. I'm going to make more phone calls. I'm going to do more. And I will tell you what ended up happening is I had my own plan. I didn't follow the coaching of my upline or anything like that, but I opened up my own little office. I ran what I thought were genius advertising campaigns. And I worked really hard. And I will tell you, at the end of the next year, I had so much success. I moved into a really amazing place, a Honda Civic. I had a beat up little red Honda Civic. It had been wrecked twice. I couldn't afford to fix it when it got wrecked. And I moved into my car. I had to take a job selling above ground swimming pools in another state where I didn't know anyone. I didn't get paid commissions until the pool got installed, which was 6 to 8 weeks out. And so for about 2 months, I lived out of my car. And in a state called Louisiana, Southern Louisiana, July and August, the 2 hottest months of the year, which is not where you want to be homeless when it's 100 degrees Fahrenheit in the shade. And so definitely a lot of learning moments. And, they say there's 2 big motivators in life. There's the desire for pleasure and then the avoidance of what? The avoidance of pain. And I will tell you, I had an experience that caused me to get very motivated because the pain got very high. In fact, it was late one night. I had an appointment the next morning in the other side of the state. I drove to the other side of the state. I pull into a little town. And typically what I would do is I would bathe in nasty gas station bathrooms. So I'd find bathrooms that would, small bathrooms that would lock on the inside. And I'd go in, I'd take my clothes off, I'd bathe from the sink, use their soap, rinse off, put my clothes back on, and I'd leave. And that's what I'd do every 2 or 3 days. Well, it had been 2 or 3 days since my last gas station bath. And so I drive around this little town late that night, around midnight, and there's one gas station in the whole town is closed. Nearest town is over 20 miles away. And I thought, all right, well, I'll do my appointment the next day. I'll, drive to the next town. I'll take my bath and all will be well. And so it's pouring down rain that night. I drive around. I find a church. I would typically park in church parking lots. I felt like a criminal would feel guilty carjacking me in a church, right? So I pull into this church. I kick my seat back and I try to go to sleep. Now, normally, the rain helps me sleep. That night, I can't sleep at all. And some of you may guess why I can't sleep. It's because I smell myself. I stink. And I'm thinking to myself, if I go into that house tomorrow smelling like I do right now, there's no way they're buying anything that I'm selling. So I'm thinking, what do? Look outside. It's raining. It's middle of the night. No one will probably see me. So I figure, why not? So I take my clothes off, I grab my bar of soap, I walk out into the middle of the church parking lot, and I begin showering in the rain. Now, how many of you have showered in the rain? If you have, you know there's no concentration of water like the shower head. The main road going through town is right there. I'm thinking if anyone drives by, if a police car drives by, I am getting arrested for sure. I'm naked in a church parking lot. And I'm like, all right, what do I do here? There's no gutter on one side of the roof. And so I went and I actually showered from the gutter runoff from the roof of the church. I get back in my car, I dry off, I put my clothes back on. And then I have what we say in Texas, we call it a come to Jesus meeting. And that is basically where you take inventory of your life. And so I take inventory of my life. I'm, 21 years old at the time. Had been at this network marketing thing since I was 18. So it's been 3 years. I'm homeless. I'm living out of my car. I'm $30,000 in debt. I have all my credit cards maxed out. I can't pay the minimum payments on any of them. I'm making no money. I'm in another state. I'm lonely. And I just showered naked in a church parking lot. And, I'll tell you, that was my wake-up call. That's when I said, Matt, invest in whatever you have to invest in. Work as hard as you have to work. Figure out what it is going to take to be a massive success. And I made a commitment that night. And in fact, I wrote in my journal that no matter what it took, no matter how hard I worked, I was going to be a massive success. And I will tell you, I started what I now call a reinvention process. And I'd read this article called What the Cell is Going On. And it was about how every cell in the body regenerates itself every 3 to 7 years. And you can reinvent your health based on what you put into it, your exercise and all that. And I just thought, you know what? If you can reinvent your life, your health, surely I can reinvent my financial success. And so I just went on a search. I started looking for anything I could get my hands on that would make a difference. And I started reading a book. Every 2 or 3 days, I'd read a new book after book after book. And I'll tell you, it wasn't like I was this overnight success story, but over the next couple years, I went from age 21 to 24.
I have a question for you guys, and I want your thoughts on this. So basically, he was broke, stuck like Chuck, all of that, and he's reading book after book. So was he going to a library and checking out books? Did he purchase books? If he was purchasing books, how did he have the money to purchase the books? What are your thoughts? And I find this a little unbelievable that all of a sudden he's having this epiphany about personal development. Now, granted, he'd been in MLM since 18, and all MLM, I don't remember which one he started out with. I don't know if it's World Ventures or not. And they all do lean into, personal development. But do we really think that he was getting those books or going to the library? What do you think was going on? Because I can't really think of how else he was going to read everything unless he was physically getting the books.
Before, $30,000 in debt, homeless, living out of my car, bathing in gas station bathrooms, showering naked in the rain, to age 24, earning a 6-figure income, being able to travel around the world, becoming a top money earner. In fact, over the next handful of years, #1 income earner in 3 different companies, millionaire by age 29, and things changed in a big way. And I tell you that story not to brag, but to give you hope, because I will tell you, I was as bad as anyone has ever been in network marketing. I've been through the struggles. I've understood what it feels like to say, man, maybe I'm not cut out for this. Literally wanting to quit 1,000 times. And so if you're in that situation, if you've been in that situation for a while, let me just tell you, from my lips to your ears, you can do this. I don't care what your background is. I don't care if you've succeeded, failed, old, young, man, woman, doesn't matter. I mean, literally over the last 25 years, I've had people that I've seen from all walks of life make millions of dollars, from people in their 80s to people gotten started at 18. And so I want you to know that the prize is worth the price. And I will tell you now, looking back on it, In the beginning, what you learn is way more important than what you earn. And if you're struggling right now, let me just tell you this. I believe your struggle is a reason why you will become an amazing leader. Because there are a lot of other people, let's be honest, most people in our profession struggle before they make it big. And if you've never struggled, it becomes very hard to relate to other people. And because I struggled for so many years, because I had so many things that I felt like were wrong with me, things like I'm shy, I'm introverted, I'm a weird, awkward communicator, I feel awkward in social settings, social anxiety. I had all that happening. But today, I can relate to the people who have all of those things. All the people who doubt themselves. If you've doubted yourself, if you're willing to step up and lead with power, guess what? That's going to make you an amazing leader. And I will tell you, I believe almost everything in our profession rises and falls based on leadership. And when it comes to closing a prospect, enrolling people into your business, it has everything to do with leadership. Now, I could give you lots of things to say, but the things that you say are less important than the mindset that you have. And I will tell you, number one is you have got to have a lot of energy. If you're not enthusiastic, you can't expect other people to be enthusiastic. What people follow more than anything else is energy. And if you don't have a high level of energy, if you don't have certainty and confidence, you're not going to get a lot of people to follow you. See, I heard a saying, and I still believe it's true, is professionals sort, amateurs sell. And while that's very true, I used to just purely sort. So I wouldn't think about being a leader and being certain and confident and optimistic and speaking faith and belief into people. Just purely sort through. And I enrolled some, but I wasn't a very powerful leader. I didn't attract other powerful leaders. And I will tell you, a huge shift that I made is when I started working on my mind as much as the tactics, how I look at.
And there we go, the whole mindset. Because from what he has told us so far, we got the sob story, everyone has one. All of these leaders have the sob story. Have you picked up on anything that is useful? Just wondering, because we're like at least about 5 minutes into this, and I haven't heard anything that to me is like, okay, here is something that is actionable. Here are some steps. This is what you can do to move forward. Maybe it's just me. Maybe it was hidden in all of that word salad. I don't know. Give me your thoughts.
At the closing process versus the things that I say necessarily. And so when I started stepping up and saying, you know what? Instead of them being the blessing for me if they joined my business, what if the real truth was that I'm the blessing to them? If they get signed up, if they join my organization, I am the blessing, because if they're coachable and teachable, I can make them unstoppable and I can change their financial future forever. And when I started stepping into that role as a leader for no reason, because listen, you don't need a reason to step up as a powerful leader. No one is ever going to knight you leader. No one's going to say, all right, hey, now you're a leader. See, most people don't step up powerfully because they're waiting for the money. They're waiting for the pin. They're waiting for the rank. And if you're waiting for the rank, you'll never be the leader. You've got to become the leader first. I will tell you, when I stepped into a new company about 12 years ago, and I hit the top rank in the company and made millions of dollars, the only reason why I hit the top rank is because I acted as if I already was the top rank.
Oh, there we go. The acting as if. This is all law of attraction mumbo jumbo crap. Are you with me? Are you guys hearing the same thing I am? Acting as if, being the person that you envision yourself being, becoming that person. Oh, it makes me just crazy. He has not said anything that is revolutionary or powerful, other than the guy is, very convinced that what he is saying is golden. And I'm not getting anything out of this other than everything that I've heard before from other so-called leaders.
Day one. So step into a powerful level of leadership now. Stop waiting for someone to give you permission to lead powerfully. So I'm going to give you a handful of things. Now, obviously, posture is incredibly important. You are the blessing, not your prospect. Okay? I'm going to talk about the three-step setup. Now, I'm going to give you the three-step setup because understand this. People make decisions primarily based on emotion way more than logic. They join, they do things because they have a reason to do them. And so we're going to lead with why. So the three-step setup is this. Number one, you're going to share your why. Why you got started. Why it's important and meaningful for you. Number two, you're all in. It's a big deal. You're all in. And number three, you're cool either way. So when you're sitting down with a prospect.
Wow, that sounds exactly like what I've heard Ray Higdon say, especially like, oh, you're cool either way, or just, and the all in. I hear the, you're all in. That really just makes me physically cringe. I just recoil when I hear all in, implying that somehow, you're not doing enough because you're not all in. Most people aren't all in. They're just not doing enough. And it really just makes me want to smack him upside the head.
I'll tell you mine about 12 years ago. I owned my own network marketing company. And I found myself after 5 years, $750,000 in debt. 60 days away from bankruptcy. It was a tough time in my life. $750,000 in debt. And when I sat down with a prospect, I'll tell you exactly what I did. I started with why. I said, listen, I've had some success over the years, but I'll tell you where I'm at right now, $750,000 in debt, 60 days away from bankruptcy. And for the past several years, I've been watching my little girl grow up instead of being there with her growing up. And so I've been looking for something else, and dude, I found it. I am all in on this. Like I've never been all in on anything in my life. And listen, I appreciate you sitting down. I'm going to go through the information at the end. Give me a thumbs up, thumbs down. Either way, totally cool with me. But if there's anyone I want to be in business with, it's you, my friend. So we break that down. Okay, number one, I shared my why. I was authentic. And see, when you're authentic, you give other people permission to be authentic as well. When you share your why, it opens up their why. So it's not you just ramming a compensation plan and products down their throat. No, you're opening up first. And if you do that first, you'll have a much higher closing ratio. So you're sharing your why. You're saying, I'm all in. See, if they think you're just trying it out, there's no certainty, there's no confidence in that. And so they're less likely to join if you're not telling them you're all in and letting them know at the end you have posture. Either way is totally cool. But if there's anyone I'd want to be in business with, it's you. See, people do business with those they like. And when you're saying, I want to be in business with you, you're transmitting that you like them. And so that it'll increase your closing ratios. Okay, so you're going to set it up. You're going to go through the information. When the information is over, if it's a Zoom, if it's a pre-recorded webinar, whatever it is, I'm going to tell you this, close early and close often. Close early means don't wait, don't keep selling at the end of a presentation. See, people need to know.
Is it just me, or are you hearing MLM cliche after MLM cliche after MLM cliche? We've had the why, we've had the acting as if, we've had, oh my gosh, the why is a big one for me. And I think it is. I know it is for you, Laura. It is, that whole why thing. I mean, there is nothing that he has said that's like, yep, okay, this is actionable. And we've had the all in. I mean, it is just literally just string together the cliches of MLM, and you too can be on stage and talk a good game and make people think, or I'm guessing, that they're getting value. Oh gosh, I use that too. You're getting something of value that you can actually use. But what are people getting from this that they could actually use? They've heard it all before. None of it is new. Drives me nuts. Putz.
that it is a simple process. It should be simple for them to enroll others. And if you give an amazing sales presentation at the end of the tool that you're using, the Zoom or the video or whatever it is, they think they have to be an amazing salesperson too. Here's the reality. 95% of the people in the world do not like to sell. So if you are showing, hey, I'm an amazing salesperson, they're less likely to enroll. Okay, so close early. Okay, this is a simple business. You need to show them it's simple. Close often means if they have an objection or they have a question, you're.
How simple is it if, like, most people are not able to make it work? And that's the thing that always gets to me because it does sound simple. All you have to do is sign up 3 people. That's all you have to do. That's not a huge number, right? But we know what the reality is in order for that to happen because most of the time that is what is not happening. And what he's not telling us is anything in his backstory that gave him a leg up somewhere in something, because I guarantee you each one of us could come up with a backstory as equally sad as it was of his. Hey, I was homeless like my last semester as an undergrad. I could, like whip that out or something. I mean, every single one of us can come up with a sad story, the rags to riches story, because that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to come up with how this thing ended up being your saving grace, so to speak. Oh, jerk.
You're going to answer the question, handle the objection, and ask again. And so they may say something like, man, this is awesome, but I don't have the money. You're going to say, well, listen, tell me the truth. Is it really that you don't have the money, or is that a polite way of saying no? Because I'm totally cool either way. I just want to help you. And they're going to say, no, I really don't have the money. I'm going to say, awesome. Well, do you want to do it? Yes. When they say yes, I'm going to ask another simple question. I'm going to say, well, let me ask you this. Are you powerful enough to come up with the money in the next 24 hours? See, it's tough to say no to that. Ask a simple question. Should be a very simple process. Now, when you ask a closing question, you need to zip your lips. I'm going to give you some psychology here. It takes the average person about 4 to 6 seconds, about 4 seconds, to make a decision to spend several $100s. Only 4 seconds. It's not very long, but when you ask the question, and there's this uncomfortable silence, salespeople tend to not allow more than 2 to 3 seconds of silence before they interrupt. And when you interrupt the buying process in their brain. So when you ask a question, you sit there and you smile and you wait for an answer. Let them make the decision. Now, what do you say? I will tell you, the thing you don't want to say at the end of a presentation is, what do you think? Because understand, I said it earlier, people make decisions more based on emotion than they do logic. So if you ask a logical question, guess what? You're going to force them to go into the logical side of the brain, which is not the buying side of the brain. So when the presentation is over, you can say something like this. Awesome, isn't it? Are you ready to get started? Very simple. Close early. Now, finally, here's it. I said it earlier. Everything is about leadership. What powerful leaders do is they believe in other people more than they believe in themselves. So when you're sitting down with a prospect, the number one reason why they won't get started with you is belief. And it's typically belief in themselves. And so when you step up as a leader and you let people know, you say, listen, John, Sally, Mary, whoever it is, I know you. I know how good you are with people. I know how open-hearted. I know how loving you are. I know how smart you are. I'm telling you this, you can absolutely do this. And if you lock arms with me, I will not let you fail, and we'll crush this together. Are you ready?
Oh God, there's 2 more things. The locking arms and crushing it is like literally cliche after cliche after cliche. And the whole thing of like being powerful of like, well, do you think you can come up with the $200, the money, blah, 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 in 24 hours? Oh my gosh. And next they're going to pull out, well, if you needed to have an operation, would you come up with the money? Just the logic or the illogic of it all is maddening.
Get started. See, speak belief into people. In your career in network marketing, if you want to rise to the highest levels of leadership, the overriding principle that I want you to get, if you get nothing else from my talk today, is speak belief and power into people. Believe more in other people than they believe in themselves, and watch what happens and watch how much they step up. Now, here's the reality. What we're all looking for is the eagle. We're looking for the person who signs up and they go run with this. They don't have to answer a bunch of, they don't have a lot of objections. They're like, I'm all in. So the eagle is what you're looking for. It's not the chickens. The chickens, they chirp around, bark, bark, bark. I don't know if I can do it, right? So we're going to go through the chickens. Our job is to sort through chickens to find the eagles. And my friend, if you want to find eagles, the number one way that you find eagles is you step up and decide to be an eagle yourself. So for those of you who are making the decision right now to step up as an eagle and lead powerfully, congratulations.
And there's another one, another cliche of making the decision. Just make the decision.
And I'll see you speaking on this stage next year. Thank you. Love you guys. We'll see you again soon. Take care, everyone.
By the end. Okay. So that was Mr. Matt. Billy is that Ash's son. No kidding. I think they're like the same age. Oh my gosh. That was just painful because, like I said, it was just cliche after cliche after cliche after cliche, which is just like, oh my God, how many of these things can you string together and to make it some kind of semi-coherent presentation? Ugh. All right, the dogs are really just hope we don't see Matt again, right? Right, Beth? The dogs are like squirming and wanting to go opposite of end. Oh, they know what that is when I say it sometimes. So I'm going to need to deal with that. But I am going to be looking at all the footage that I have of the on passive private webinar that went on for, half the day today and part of the evening. It was just like forever. And share that with you tomorrow. Now, I'm not going to keep you here for hours on end, like for 7 hours, because that would just be, would you really want to sit here and listen to Ash and to me, talk for that long? I think you have a life to live, and I want you to live that life. But at the very least, I'll take you through part of it because he does. Beth, you'll be glad to find out that he teaches you how to log into the new back office, even though the back office isn't actually live. And I'm not sure if it's in a sandbox or how he's doing it. And I swear it looks like a modification of Salesforce, but I could be wrong. Anyway, I'm going to get down on the go-go so I can take them outside. And it's chilly here in Houston. I don't know about where you are, but it's chilly here today. And my hair's wet, so I'm not going to go outside with the dogs. Anyway, I'm going to go. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed or cringed when you saw Matt's presentation. And, I will do some more on the business for home and fill in stuff, especially if I have to sort through, hours long of, webinars from on passive, which I'm not giving up on that. Which, by the way, one of my friends today let me know that they talked to someone from the FTC who is a friend of theirs, and they mentioned on passive to the person, and that person did take note. And I have another friend who collected information from me and has contacted the SEC about on passive, because this is really something that needs to be stopped. And I'm not saying that I have a magic wand and can make that happen, but I think the more that we talk about it and the more that people share any insider information with me, the more of a chance we have to get it shut down and to have Ash go away. Now, granted, we are fighting against a lot of leadership that put out videos all the time. So I'm a little late on this game, but I know, Beth, I know you did a video on Passive the other day, and thank you very much for that. And anyone else who will put out content about On Passive, just kind of getting that buzz, talking about what this is or is not, and how it has not launched. But according to Ash, we have baby Catmo. Oh, anyway, again, thank you. Have a wonderful rest of your evening, and I will chat with you tomorrow. And remember, you're beautiful and I love you.